The Pac-12 and the Big 12 get together as they always do with the Alamo Bowl. We've got Texas taking on Washington. We could call this maybe the Steve Sarkisian Bowl. His current and former employers getting together. Washington with a big season coming off 4-8. They change head coaches. Kalen DeBoer comes in and turns things around to 10-2, taking on an 8-4 Texas team. We got Steve Merrill here from Wager Talk to break it down. Steve, what do you have on the Longhorns and the Huskies?
Yeah, it really is amazing. All these bowl previews we've done, had we just blindly played against teams after getting their sixth win, like in November, we would have made a lot of money this year, Mark. And I mean, you didn't think like Texas was all that excited because they came bowl eligible. They beat Kansas State on November 5th, but then they lost to TCU outright as a 7-point favorite. That's how remarkable the TCU playoff appearance is, because not only did they lose last week and still get in, which I don't agree with, by the way, we've talked about that, but TCU was a touchdown dog to Texas, don't forget, just a few weeks ago, and Texas lost that game, but they did bounce back with solid wins against Kansas and Baylor the following two games, so they do finish a nice 8-4. You look at some raw power rating numbers, including mine. Texas is a top 10 team. They're one of the best teams in the nation. So if they show up, they should win this game by margin. But that's a big if. You do wonder about their motivation. I don't think coming into the season they necessarily thought they were going to be, a college football playoff team. In fact, if you look at the future odds, they weren't in the top 5 or 6. They were actually 33-1. They were like 7th on the board. So they obviously had potential, a lot more than Washington. I mean, Washington was nowhere in the top 20 or 30 even. They might have actually been ahead of TCU. I'd have to check. In fact, they're 300-1. TCU was 250-1. Washington was 300-1. So they're like top 50 when the season began. So this should be a mismatch, but as you know, with these minor bowl games, and this is a minor bowl game, especially for Texas, a team that had national title aspirations, you do worry about the focus. Now, it's the Alamo Bowl. It's in San Antonio, not that far from Austin. They could have a little bit of an edge if their fans travel, but I think Washington's probably pretty excited to be playing this game. And Washington's a team that really turned it on down the stretch. Not only did they win every game in November, but they also covered their last 3, including that upset win at Oregon. 37-34 is a 12-point dog. Took care of Colorado, who's a terrible team. That could have been a letdown spot. Colorado was too bad to take advantage. And then a good win by Washington against Washington State, 51-33 in the Apple Cup there the day after Thanksgiving or the Saturday after. So they're playing better football right now than they were early in the season. Matchup-wise, both offenses are pretty good. Texas does hold a substantial defensive edge, though. We'll see if that's the difference. But these Alamo Bowls can get up in points because a lot of times you get, like today or tonight, this game, you have two high-profile teams that maybe had bigger pictures on deck. And that's why we've seen this total go from 65 up to 68.5. We've also seen the money come in on Texas early. The opening line was 3.5. Quickly, within a day or two, went to -6. I think the overmove makes some sense, though, especially if these two teams aren't fully focused.
Join us on Discord. What you get there is my selections. You get, more importantly, Steve's under the radar selection, exclusive right there. That's the only place you can get it. Steve's 12-1. 12-1 against the spread on his under the radar selections. And you can join the Discord and talk college football 24/7, 365 with the knuckleheads there that we've got on Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search MarkRogersTV. Steve, we appreciate you stopping by as always.
Thanks, Mark.